Welcome back. So today we're doing art with Ryan, and today we were talking about Katherin Morling, Morling. So she is a UK artist, and she is part of our sculptural artist series this year. Remember, we're talking about 24 different artists, and she is one of them. So here at Art with Ryan, we've been talking about different artists, and she is one of the 24 that we're looking at this year, acquiring pieces from. And she is from the UK. And if you're just now joining us, there's a whole series of these artists that we've already done. We're trying to acquire some artists. We have $1,600, $1,800 is our budget, and we are looking at acquiring at least 3 to 4 pieces, and we've already acquired 2 at this point. One you haven't heard about us acquiring yet, I don't think. So anyway, we need to do the video on that piece as well, but we have 2. And Katherin Morling is another artist that we are going to be talking about. And she is from the UK. We found out that she has a BA. So in the UK they have a BA and an MA when it comes to the fine arts. A BA from Falmouth College in 2003 and an MA from the Royal College of Art in 2009. So now we're going to start going through her work. So you've seen some of her work has already been passing by right here, kind of scrolling through. And you can see some of the things that are different things that have happened in her work. It's really great, it's really beautiful, it's really fun to look at. I really enjoy it. I would recommend you to enjoy it as well. Also, something different that we're going to talk about here versus other artists that we've talked about is I'm going to actually tell you places that I've actually seen her work and where you can go and buy it. So let's begin. So on her website, which we'll have the link below, is katherinmorling.com/UK, and she goes into some of her older work. So this right here is called Silver Carousel, and I'm assuming it has to do with the glazing process. I don't know. She doesn't explain why it's called Silver Carousel, or if it's kind of a different type of process. And then we have this penny cabinet, penny drawers is what it's called. Again, this is really kind of a figurative piece. It seems like she's figuring things out. That's great. We see a lot of technical ability, glazing ability, structural ability. Great. Moving forward. Now, here's Showgirl Vase. Showgirl Vase, I feel uninspired by, to be honest. There's other artists that are in the UK that are really pushing this hardcore ceramic floral thing, and so I don't feel like she does it as well as some of the other artists that we have talked about. But I feel like that's really interesting. You're seeing technical ability, you're seeing everything. So let's move forward. Now we're going to get to I'm not sure what this is. It's called horses. I'm not sure if it's a jar, I'm not sure if it's a pot, I'm not sure if it has a lid, I'm not sure. But now let's look at the horses here. These horses mimic, hold on, these horses here in the Silver Carousel. So you're starting to see that she's playing with this idea of horses. She likes horses. Who doesn't like horses? Everybody likes horses. Then let's go to her next piece, which is this one, and it's called New Zebra Crossing. New Zebra Crossing is right here. Oh, you've already been looking at it. But again, what do you see about these horses here? They're the same ones, they're just painted with black stripes. So again, she really likes this horse. Again, what's not to like with it? But also there's something here that's happening that I really have to say is really successful, is the contrast between the white porcelain or clay and this black glaze. And I think that she captures that here. And I think this is one of the first works where she's playing on white and black only. And then we go to these 2 vases that we're going to talk about now. First one is Reflections. So if you look at this one, it's really well, it looks like it was built on she put it on a spinning wheel, not a spinning wheel, but a clay wheel and a potter's wheel. and she built it that way. And it's really a quite technically stunning piece. Look at it. And then she again went in and painted everything black and white. Now here's something that, as I went through her work, this was the first time I found this, is that is this black and white. It looks like it's structurally built, but then you have these, like, everything's lined in black, almost as if it's a cartoon or a coloring book, and it's really quite fascinating. So I really, really enjoy this. Then we get down to here. Now this is a white thing called White Skulls. Again, she goes back to this kind of like all white, all everything. It looks like it's hand built, looks like it's well built, but that's about it for me. Now this was part of something she did with Chopard, and they showed jewels and used this kind of as a fixture for their windows. So that's really cool. That, I mean, like, what artist doesn't want to be recognized with a world-class house like Chopard? And then we go to this carousel. Again, look at the horses. These horses are the same as the ones for Zebra Crossing and the Silver Carousel and the object horses. So it's quite stunning to look at. It's all flocked. So if you don't know what flocking is where you put an adhesive on it and then you put a small layer of some kind of felted material or fiber or something so that it has a textural element to it that you can touch. Then she goes back to making these things from her Showgirl series, but they're tiny and they're like small dahlias. So you have these things here. Again, I think that they're fun, but I feel like these are more of something you can find at like a Pier 1 or a Z Gallery. I don't see the excitement in these. And that's okay. Artists need to make things that they themselves are not excited about or you're not excited about so that they can figure things out. But then she takes a hard left and creates these things here. So like this giraffe, for example, she's starting to go back to that kind of like colored outline structural objects, which are phenomenal and fascinating and quite amazing. And then she goes and she makes these matchboxes, which you can find on her website for sale. She makes these glasses, which are on her website, which you can find for sale. And then this jellyfish, which you can go on her website and find for sale. And this cabinet of butterflies, which you can no longer find on her website for sale because it's sold out. But the nice thing about all of these objects is that you can go on her website and she has a constantly changing body of work that by the time that this video comes out, some of the stuff might be irrelevant and some of it might be relevant. Who knows? Maybe she's made something similar to that cabinet of butterflies that we've already talked about. Maybe she's made something just like it already again. So, who knows? That's one thing I really appreciate about her work is that it's constantly changing, constantly evolving, and that you'll go on there. I've gone on there several times looking for things that are in my price range. Everything's in pounds and not in dollars, so you need to be aware of that as well. And I'm looking, and the thing I have found is that it's always changing. There's sometimes where it looks like she almost has like 4 or 5 things for sale, or I'll say inquire about a piece. And sometimes, like today I went on and it looked like she had like 40 or 50 things that were just there. So sometimes it's feast and sometimes it's famine. But now we're going to talk about something really interesting. So this little teapot right here. So I drug a friend, I was on her website a few months ago, and I drug a friend to Bergdorf Goodman here in New York City to go and hunt down her pieces because her pieces are quite stunning and I wanted to get some in-person pictures of them. So I got this flower pot and then I got this grouping of butterflies flying out of somewhere. Anyway, out of this box. Anyway, the grouping of butterflies, I couldn't pick up that. It was really delicate and I didn't want to damage it. But the flower pot I was able to turn upside down and I got a price. Right there. There's the price. $535 US. So that way, and it's about this big, it's about 6 to 8 inches tall. It's not very big, but it's beautiful. It's well made. I highly recommend it. It's a little far out of my price range, but again, these are really well made, beautiful objects. So I highly recommend them. Katherin Morling is someone I'm hoping to acquire this year, but who knows what happens with what we're spending our money on. All right, everybody. Again, thanks for following Art with Ryan. I look completely disheveled today because the heat kicked on in our apartment, and it's mid-June here in New York. So I am beyond repair. Anyway, have a great day, everybody, and thanks for joining me with Art with Ryan. And don't forget to hit subscribe below and the notification bell above, and the link to Katherin Morling will be in the description box below. Bye.